Angela and Frank, we are live outside the memorial, live outside the sheriff's office right now, where we're seeing several people show up ahead of the procession to pay their respects. And you can see people taking photographs of this growing memorial, where we have a lot of bouquets of flowers, photos of Deputy Jacob Pickett, his canine Brick there. I want to show you what I'm seeing. Chad, come with me if you can. A lot of this is just so touching. I mean, we have growing mountains of flowers, but I think what really has hit me most are the cards and the signs that preschools have made, that children are sending and making for them. There's this one back here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you, where these children put their handprints on a sign. This was obviously made by a classroom, and that will be forwarded to the family. There's stuffed animals for the children, treats as well for that canine Brick. All morning long, we've been talking to people who have been bringing even their children out here, saying it's really just about paying their respects, that, you know, they're trying to keep the family in mind here. A little about that procession. This is the area, this is the post where we're going to hear that final dispatch. And Angela and Frank, I've covered many of these. This is probably arguably one of the more emotional parts, at least for me, during an officer's funeral. We're understanding that the procession is going to be coming from this direction here, and as you mentioned, it is fairly long, and stopping right in front of this memorial. That procession, the hearse in front, the family also nearby, thousands of people lining the road here. And it's at that point that a dispatcher will come over the radio, give Deputy Pickett's call sign. When he expectedly does not answer, that dispatcher will come back over. You may hear some tones. It's a little bit different depending on the department. We may hear a moment of silence. That dispatcher may also give some final remarks of the deputy himself, the sacrifice that he made in this instance, and then they'll give that end of watch time and say something along the lines of "gone but not forgotten." And again, that is going to be a very somber moment out here in Boone County, something that we've seen, a tradition for decades, since the 1950s. All of the vehicles today expected to have black flags flying as well. It will be a very quiet day out here, I'm sure. Sir, I don't mean to put you on the spot here. We're on live TV. I'm just interested to know why you came out here before the procession today.
Well, I used to work part-time at the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, so you know, even though I'm not in that line of work anymore, and still I consider them my brothers and sisters. And you know, it's you just can't. There's no words for it. You know, unfortunately, people have no regard for human life, and senseless tragedy, and justice will be served, hopefully swiftly.
You see this memorial. Is this your first time seeing it?
This is my first time coming out here.
What do you think?
It's making me tear up. It's just sad. It's sad, and it reflects the love that most decent human beings have for officers, and that's the way it should be. And I've got shepherds myself. I can promise you that dog is suffering too. Brick, I'm sure. Yeah, and I'm glad the sheriff is going to hopefully let the dog stay with the family.
If you could say anything to the family, what would that be?
You know, you're never going to get over it, but you just learn. The only thing you can do is learn to live with it. It'll never get any easier. You just learn to live with it, and there's millions of people that are behind you and support you, and if you ever, if they ever need help, there would be people there to help you. And rest in peace, and know that your husband was loved, you're loved, and the outpouring support. I just spent time driving around Lebanon, and just the amount of support is just unbelievable. My legs are shaking. That's just, it's about time that, unfortunately we had to have something like this happen for people to support what should be without these kind of things happening. So,
Same sentiment shared by many. I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
You know, something that I think we also need to touch on is, and I know you guys touch on this as well, is just the family and what they're going through right now. This is a tough line of work. We've heard this from a lot of officers coming out here to the memorial, that this is not a job that just officers endure. It's something that their families endure as well. You know, every time that a uniformed spouse walks out the door, they don't know if they're coming home. And the wife, Jen, I'm sure, didn't expect that phone call by any means, but this is something that they're having to go through. But as that gentleman just said, they are not alone. So we are going to continue to update you back here at the memorial. Of course, when that procession comes by, we will bring that final dispatch to you live as well. We'll send it back to you guys.
Angela, thanks. I don't think Angela would mind me mentioning